In the June of 2023, senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi made told claims, of course, while interacting with a journalist at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. It stated, and I quote, "There is definitely a weakening of press freedom in India. It's apparent in India and the rest of the world too can see it." He'd also further stated that he viewed India as a negotiation between its people, between different cultures, languages and history. Well, one of our reporters, though, Shivpal Yadav, who'd gone to cover the Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra, was assaulted by Karyakartas of the Congress in front of Rahul Gandhi's eyes. He first spoke with our reporter aggressively, and then when our reporter was being beaten up, he asked his supporters to not by saying, "Mat maro, mat maro." Well, let's in fact listen in to first what Rahul Gandhi had said on press freedom and then show you exactly what transpired yesterday in Raebareli in UP.
I think the fact that there is a weakening of press freedoms, this is not hidden. I mean, everybody knows it. It's apparent in India. The rest of the world can see it. And I think press freedom is very, very critical for a democracy. I mean, one should be open to criticism, and one should listen to criticism. I mean, that's the feedback loop that builds democracies.
आपके मालिक का क्या नाम है? सर, मेरे मालिक का नाम वही है जो आपके क्या नाम है?
Joining us at this point is Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist. We also have Sumit Peer, political analyst, joining us live. Bhashpati Mukherjee, former ambassador, joins us live. We also have Major General Dhruv Katuch, defense expert, joining us. Let me begin with you first, Gautam Mukherjee. What do you make of the way this journalist got assaulted of ITV network at a political rally yesterday, and what should now happen next?
Well, you know, if only the actions match the words. On the one hand, this man keeps saying that, you know, we want more press freedom. On the other hand, he has something like this happen and then pretends to sort of not disapprove of it. It's really quite hypocritical.
Yes, you believe it's hypocritical. Sumit Peer, what is your take on the way this incident panned out at the Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra? The way, of course, Rahul Gandhi first spoke aggressively, then obviously tried to calm down his supporters who had got instigated and beat up this ITV network journalist.
Uday, thanks for having me on your show. You know, it's a very unfortunate turn of events. It's a low what the country's democracy has seen, because media is the fourth pillar of democracy. Now, if you look at the situation, this man is only doing his job. He's supposed to ask questions. If you don't want to reply him, you can just say no comments, or you can just do a namaskar and walk away. That is what the protocol is. Now, what does it mean? Tumhara naam kya hai? तुम्हारे किस चैनल से है, तुम्हारे मालिक का नाम क्या? So how does his name, his caste, his channel's name and the owner's name matter to his add or subtract his journalistic credentials? How will that impact the answer of Rahul Gandhi, and how does that impact his political outcome? Because this is a man who is trying to do his job. Now, when you are asking such questions, when you are trying to instigate the people around you, then they go and manhandle this man. And when he is beaten, maro mat, maro mat. What does Hindi mean, maro mat? Maro mat mean, ideal Hindi is pito mat, pito mat. Maro mat can even mean don't kill him. You don't kill him, it's okay. We had a good thrashing of him. Now, in the country, if journalists are asking their questions, will you ask them their name, their caste, their channel's name and the name of the owner? What is you say your owner is Mr. Kartikeya Sharma. How will that impact Rahul Gandhi's answer? That is the question. Now, this name is Mr. Yadav. How does his caste and his surname impact his answer? And in this country, now will the journalists be beaten for asking the questions? If you don't like the question, if you are uncomfortable with the question, you can choose not to answer. You can say no comments or pass by. But why are you so irritated that you let your supporters manhandle this man, thrash this man just for doing a job? And then you're saying maromat. Uday, it is a video I saw 2 days back. There was one journalist who went to cover so-called this Kisan protest. Now there is one Kisan Neta who is coming कि वो journalist का सर फोड़ दिया. If I was not there, they would have chopped him with his words. I mean, I was taken aback. You are telling me a journalist will go to cover you. You have opened his skull and you are saying, okay, still it's because of me he was not killed or he was not chopped with the swords. So will journalists in this country be chopped with the swords? Will this journalists will manhandle? Will they be beaten by the public? Will they be beaten by the political supporters of the political party? And is Congress rattled to so much that your frustration is venting out on a poor journalist who is trying to do his job? If you have lost the elections, admit it. If you cannot win the elections, admit it. Anyway, out of 49, you lost 39 of the elections. How does it matter, Rahul Gandhi? If you lose one more election, you are still going to be the Yuvraj of the Congress. Question here is, see the frustration in the Congress. What has the name of the news channel's owner got to do with your answer? That is what I find completely baffling. And what is your name got to do with that answer? And you are saying there is no press freedom in India. We are down on the press index. Nobody is covering me. Press is being scuttled. You are manhandling press, Mr. Gandhi. You and your reporters are manhandling press. The minimum you can do is to issue an unconditional apology on your letterhead and apologize to this journalist personally. But when you are asking these questions, when you are instigating your people, then whatever happened was a natural outcome. It's a political rally. People are charged. When they get a feeling that the leader is getting irritated and agitated, what they stop talking, wo baat kam karke laat shuru kar dete. That is what happened here. I mean, if this is the new normal, then I'm sorry, Uday, the fourth pillar of democracy stands shaken. This is a new low what the country has seen. And this is 101% condemnable. It can be any journalist from any party. But no citizen of India, no journalist of India can be beaten for doing his job. That is my take on it. I'm very clear on it. You cannot manhandle people for doing their job. You can agree, you can disagree, that's okay. But yaar, pito ko thodi na, phir keh maro mat. What do you want to kill him? You are just protecting him from not getting killed. And that's a great favor you are doing to the nation. I mean, that is what the nation is saying, and that is what the entire ecosystem of journalists and the media must take a note of. Maro mat. He could have, the proper word is pito mat. He didn't do pito mat. Maro mat. So what are we doing here, Uday? I think it's a very unfortunate day for the journalism, and kudos to your colleague who did his job, and I wish him speedy recovery, and may God grant him enough strength to bear this tragedy which happened in his life just to do his job, to earn his bread and butter. Uday.
Let me quickly bring in Ambassador Mukherjee into the conversation as well. Ambassador Mukherjee, what do you make of the way this incident panned out? And the fact is, obviously, it's happened with a channel which is which is extremely unbiased in its journalism, which obviously asks questions of everyone and shows all sides of the story. And that's why exactly our colleague was covering an opposition event, was covering an opposition yatra, which we are seeing pan out across India. But then this is what happened to him at that event.
It is extremely unfortunate, and it shows a new low of the Congress party and its leadership. I think that it is very rare, even during very difficult periods of our nation's history, that a journalist asking a question has been asked about his caste. In fact, asking the caste of the person in a way is a violation of caste and minority rights protected under the Constitution, because you don't have the right to ask the caste of the person because it can be sensitive to the person having a particular name. Under those circumstances, if, as was rightly pointed out, if the question was causing some discomfiture, he could have just passed it off and said, I have no comments on this for the moment. If you don't have any other question, I'll move to the next journalist. That would have been a much more mature way of covering it. Moreover, if a person who fancies himself to be a leader cannot keep his cool and calm when he is handling questions from journalists, how does he ever imagine that he can aspire to the highest post of the land? He wants to be Prime Minister of India. There are millions of challenges being thrown every day at the person who is the head of our state and government. If he cannot even maintain his calm and his temper when a simple question which he does not like is posed to him, and I'm grateful that it was explained to me the difference between Pito Mat and Maro Mat, because in Bengali, actually, if you say ki Marishna, it's actually an invitation to beat him more. In Bongland, if you tell a person Marishna, you are actually inviting the guys who are beating up to beat him a little bit more, before letting him go, but not kill him. So in a way, it's quite similar to the Hindi equivalent. In a way, it was quite instructive for me to understand the nuances between Bengali and Hindi on this particular phrase. But it is disgraceful, and I thoroughly condemn it. And I do hope he makes a speedy recovery. It's very bad for journalistic freedom, and it also gives a very bad impression about media freedom in India to the outside world. Uday.
Yes, let me in fact quickly rope in Major General Katoch as well into this conversation. Major General Katoch, what do you make of the way this entire incident panned out at that at that political event, at that political rally yesterday, and also now what steps you would expect going forth, to be taken against the perpetrators of this attack, this assault, who have obviously been caught on camera there?
Thank you, Uday. Uday, I'm totally in conformity and in agreement with my panelists who have spoken earlier. Now, there are two very sorry things, which come out as per this particular incident. The first is, of course, the fact that a person from the media was beaten up. Now, that is unacceptable. You have the right to reply. You have the right to respond. But you do not have the right to beat up a person who is asking you a question. That is out of the question. And I think, in India, we have prided ourselves for a very, very long time on our press freedom. The media is free. The amount of criticism which I see on a daily basis against the government, while, a person may or may not like it, but it shows how free the press is. And very few foreign countries can actually, even Western countries, can actually match up with the degree of press freedom which is available in India. So such incidences, when they take place, they send across a very, very bad message to the world that India is an intolerant country. I would rather say there are some leaders who are intolerant. This is one aspect of it. I think the second aspect, very frankly, I think it is far worse. And that is for the person who is being asked a question to start looking at the credentials of the reporter. Who is the owner of the channel, and what is the name of the interviewer, and what is his caste. Now, this is something which is absolutely unacceptable under any definition. You cannot go, you cannot start saying, okay, I will be interviewed by people who belong to a particular type of caste. Now, so I think what we need to do now is, I think it is, as far as the media is concerned, you've got your own council, you've got your own groups. I think the message should go very strongly from them to tell them, to tell the concerned people, ask for a formal apology, that is one. And if it is not forthcoming, then make it very clear to them that the media will boycott you. I mean, there has to be a lesson sent out to the perpetrators of such violence. And unfortunately, the people who are perpetrating it, like in this particular case, from the Congress party, a person who is aspiring for the highest post of the land, for the prime ministership of this country. Now, you can't behave like that. I have seen some very serious interviews taking place by the media and very high dignitaries, where the senior dignitary did not like the question at all. They refused to answer. In some cases, they walked out. But in none of the cases did they actually abuse or assault the person who was asking the question. That is out of the question. And I think it's a very, very sad day that we've had to see something like this when the elections are forthcoming. And I do hope it is not repeated. Uday.
All right, let me take that across to Gautam Mukherjee as well. Gautam, clearly, of course, political rallies are extremely charged, places and unpredictable places, of course. But here, this is something which has happened in full public view of the leader concerned. Now, we would expect follow-up steps from the Congress party, from this leader concerned, and perhaps action against these individuals as well.
Yes, and the other thing that you might have noticed is that he has been saying disjointed things that don't make a lot of sense. He's been naming names of people that have no bearing on what he's on about. I think the man is distraught and does not know what to do. He is isolated. His yatra is going nowhere. his ambitions of either improving the Congress tally or indeed that of the opposition alliance are all going nowhere. And this kind of bad behavior is typical of this family at all times. This is not new. They've done this time and again because they have a sense of entitlement and a feeling that what I do is my business, but I have a right to do whatever I feel like. So there is nothing democratic about it. And that is most offensive. And I'm not holding my breath about these people coming and apologizing or even, saying anything to anybody on the issue. They will try to gloss it over and carry on as if nothing's happened. Uday.
Yes, let me, in fact, take that back to Sumit Peer as well. Sumit, moving forward, what would you expect, from the Congress Party, from Rahul? What kind of action would you want taken against these perpetrators, these lumpen elements who obviously were present there and got instigated, tried to take matters into their own hands there, and also, how unfortunate it is that it happens to a channel of ITV network which prides itself on its neutral, unbiased journalism, and NewsX very well in the kind of programs that we do on the channel. They're not instigatory, or they're not loud, volatile at all, are they?
I think I can't agree more with you. All these years on NewsX, what you give, what ITV network gives, especially the NewsX channel, is you give everybody an equal opportunity of putting their point of view. Nobody hackles in between. Nobody can shout over each other. It doesn't end up to be into a shouting match. We have not seen it happen. We have been on numerous panels where there have been Congress spokesperson there have been Aam Aadmi and other parties. Everybody gets a chance to say, we let the people decide who is right or wrong. It's not, me winning over you or you winning over me on a TV channel. Let the people decide what is wrong, right and wrong. In this case, the logic is same. I'm asking you a question, sir, with due respect, Mr. Gandhi. You can answer, you can choose not to answer. Whatever your answer is, at the end of the day, I as a reporter will not decide. The Janta of the country will decide what is right or wrong. I'm only the medium. And whatever we discuss and debate on the TV networks we are only putting a point of view for the people or the Janta Janardhan to make their own opinions. Ultimately, the decision is not taken by you and me, Uday. We are nobody. We are just having discussion. Let the Janta make their own decision. That means, now if you look at this, what do we expect? We would have expected, first of all, an FIR to be launched. So there's a legal side of it. Second thing is Congress issuing an apology and at least suspending all these people who will be named in the FIR or getting them out of the membership of the Congress. That is the minimum we expect. And as far as ITV network is concerned, I think your people are doing a fantastic job. The kind of work you're doing for the nation, the kind of things you're building up. And for the first time, when you go through a debate on NewsX, at the end of the day, somebody is able to conclude something. Rather than it's not me versus Gautam or me versus General Katoch, and then whoever has better lung power is the better debater. No, it doesn't work like that. So with these kind of notions, these people talks about how rattled they are. This talks about how they have lost the connect on the ground, and this talks about how do they see an ordinary Nagarik and common citizen of India. You are known by not by your work. You are known by your name, your caste, your channel, and the name of your owner. Is this then, if that is then, we should have a board there, then everybody should carry a board. This is my name, this is my caste, this is my channel, or ye mere malik ka naam hai. Then if this is then, then let Congress come up with a formal press release and inform everybody in the media, bhai, these are the 4 QR. Before you ask us any question, answer this. Otherwise, things can go out of the hand. So, that is the only thing which is left. Uday, unfortunately, this talks about how rattled Congress is. This talks about how Congress has lost grip on the ground. I mean, if this can happen in Rahul Gandhi's rally, imagine there are a lot of leaders who have a lot of, who credentials are not good. Some of them even have criminal backgrounds. What will happen to media in such a things? What are we waiting for a disaster to happen? So what is happening in the country? How low can you go? If you are not going to win the election and if Modi ji is saying 400 par, you have to live with it. That's the reality. But by getting hold of a poor chap and getting him beaten up, that is not going to win you elections. That is not going to win you public sympathy. You will only get more and more public flack for this. Uday.
Yes. Let me, go back across to Major General Katoch. Major General Katoch, now, obviously, this also does not reflect very well of the kind of commentary that Rahul has been making on press freedom when something like this can happen at a rally of the party that, he was leading to not too long back as the Congress president.
Yes, Sudhir, you're right. But just before that, you were speaking about the ITV channel.
Yes.
And I've been on many debates for many years now, and Sumit, of course, has also been there in most of them where I participated. For him to target ITV, I think it's absolutely absurd. This has been a very, very fair channel throughout, and all voices are heard. All different shades of opinion are heard. I mean, each of us has different opinions. That's fair. Sumit may say something, I may say something else. It is really for the viewer to decide what makes more logic, or to modify the thoughts in his own mind of what he has heard. Now, as far as hypocrisy is concerned, I think Mr. Gandhi takes the cake. Every time he goes out, he preaches something, and every time when he comes back home, their actions are different. It is very self-evident now, and I think the people are well attuned to what Mr. Gandhi is doing. It was mentioned earlier that he appears to be unhinged. Well, he certainly appears to be unhinged yesterday or day before when he gave a talk, and he was speaking of Aishwarya Rai dancing in the Ram Mandir, I mean, and Amitabh Bachchan also coming in. No, I haven't understood what the analogy was or why he mentioned the lady when she wasn't even there. So there is something going on, perhaps in his mind. But more importantly, I think the element of hypocrisy, you say something and you lead a different life. That really doesn't gel. So the element of hypocrisy must go. I have seen many leaders in India, very senior political leaders, and they live what they state. They live the life. And they belong to different political parties. It is not necessarily that they belong to the ruling party, but they are very, very conscious of their public image, and what they believe in, they actually state. I think we need more leaders like that. And I think it is for the party concerned now to introspect as to what their leadership should be if they wish to give credible opposition to the present dispensation. Uday.
Yes, indeed. Let me quickly go to Gautam now to get last words on this, on what kind of action you would want now moving ahead, Gautam.
I think the ITV network should complain about this.
And you can also, you can also speak, of course, on that, because you've been part of multiple ITV network programs as well.
Yeah, because when a man is doing his job, and this wannabe politician starts asking about your channel and your owner and so on in that insulting manner, I think, and then has his goons beat you up. I think a police complaint, an FIR, is a minimum thing, and let it go from there.
All right, I'm going to leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.